We're very pleased that Mr. Geoffrey Streeter, writer and critic, formerly director of the British Council in Hong Kong, has kindly recorded an introduction to Mingled Voices 10, which we'll hear now. Following this, we'll hear readings of poems awarded a place in this new edition of the Mingled Voices series of International Proverse Poetry Prize anthologies. All those P's again. The poems we will hear include the first, second, and third prize winners, and one poem from a group of poems by a single poet, specially mentioned by the judges.
The preface to Mingled Voices 10 by Geoffrey Streeter. In his 1971 poem Gift, the Polish Nobel laureate Ci so Miłość describes the simple pleasures of a day so happy and enjoys the view of blue sea and sails. The evil I had suffered does not mar the gift of this day and its natural wonders, and he feels no pain. The gift was the suggested theme for the International Proverse Poetry Prize, from which the poems in this anthology are drawn. The gifts that reach the poets in Mingled Voices 10 are more obviously imbued with the sorrows of grief or the pangs of memory than the poem I quoted earlier. In Tanusha Nagrath's beautiful first prize-winning poem, Elegy, A Gift from Those Who Have Gone, what is received after the death of a loved one is a black box of sorrow, which brings only a numbing comfort, as time seems to erase details, even as it soothes. No names, no addresses, no faces, only the long, languid yet luminous relearning of light. In Gary Beaumier's Just Before You Fly Away, the gifts are the simple possessions left behind by the recently deceased. You have left me with all your hats. But the poet finds that memories disappear along with these objects as he finds a suitable place for them. The poplar is shedding and her boughs have lowered, so I place your red beret beneath it, to be buried come autumn in its leaves. Only then I forget your face. In Graham Wood's The Gift of an Ending, the gift received is one of relief from the ravages of nature, as expressed in the poem's lovely conclusion, and the long, painfully held flood breath of the valley could be released in one collective sigh. The gift in Allegra Jostad Silberstein's poem The Gift is a human one. On your kitchen table, 4 loaves of newly baked bread. Was it a gift for your children? This offering, freighted with symbolism, is weighed against the finality of her mother's departure. No force of gravity, no tears, no science, no recipe to bring you home. The suggested theme was not the only inspiration for these poets. As Gillian mentioned in her editor's note, some writers find their creative spark ignited by other texts, especially classical ones. A particularly striking example is Maria Elena Blanco's second prize-winning poem, Penelope's meditation on Cavafy's famous poem Facing Manhattan Island. Blanco's poem reinterprets the original, which had itself offered a meditation on the meaning of destination and home in Homer's Odyssey. For Cavafy, the journey, not the destination, was the key thing in his reimagining of Odysseus' saga. Better if it lasts for years, so you're old by the time you reach the island, wealthy with all you've gained on the way, not expecting Ithaca to make you rich. Blanco's traveller finds her own way to achieve the kind of detachment urged by Cavafy. Leaning on the Ionian column with the Egyptian cat, and my loom anchored on the Brooklyn Bridge, a net of words spread through the seas, and my home in the air, I celebrate life. Rather than focusing on the future in a new world, the traveller celebrates the world as travelled, the world as wisdom acquired, and its net of words. Arguably, it is a lack of wisdom, or perhaps a lack of humility, that cost Icarus his life in the myth that is central to P Linstroth's Icarus Gone. Instead of a net of words spread through the seas, what we see in this very visual poem is Daedalus gliding, gazing downward at glinting sea, and then the tragedy of Icarus's fate. A slight whitish splash betwixt a wave and gone. Rina Ong's Silent Witness tells the same story, but here the attention at the end is focused on the tragedy of Daedalus, weeping as his son drowns, long before the fate of Icarus will fade slowly into myth. The literary inspiration of Joy Al-Sofi's Golden Shovel was Rifat al-Hariri, a Palestinian poet killed in Gaza in December 2023. The ending of the poem echoes the fate of Icarus. Each uncertain hour may bring a tragic ending. But the last line refers back to Al-Hariri's If I Must Die, which ends, Let it bring hope, let it be a tale. In Al-Sofi's poem, this becomes limitless new beginnings to our tale. Other poems in the anthology draw their inspiration from the natural world. In Beaumier's poem mentioned above, a bird becomes a keeper of memory and the soul. I hear the faint coo of the morning dove coaxing the sun to rise. In Tragus, by Lelawati Manu Raming, nature in the form of an obstinate plant becomes a powerful image of resilience. And when I have become nothing more than the wind blowing through a pair of jeans drying on a clothesline, the burgrass will still be here. For Vinita Agrawal, in Fragile Lexicon, nature becomes a kind of record. The river, scribe of forgotten prayers, the stone, keeper of slow time, the fog, dissolver of borders. The poem ends with a sense of optimism as day breaks, with this beguiling image. Then the animals stepped forward with their pockets full of dawn. There is much stunning imagery in the poems in this volume. Urmila Vyachaka Krishnan Pralad, for example, describes the unfurling of an accordion of sun. This vivid and compelling use of language reminds us that poetry is a gift, not only in the sense that some writers are gifted enough to rouse us from our everyday slumbers, but also in that their poems come to us as a gift of words. In this anthology, the many mingled voices offer us their diverse perspectives, hard-won wisdom and beauty. I began with Tanusha Nagrath's winning poem on a note of elegy, and I would like to end on that note too. The beauty and grace of so many of the poems in this book are, I believe, a fitting tribute to the man we lost last year and still mourn, Werner Bickley. Throughout his long and creative life, Werner laboured to bring about cross-cultural understanding and peaceful collaborative coexistence among all. He once said, I would like to be remembered as someone who realised what the overall mission was. Through the lasting legacy of Mingled Voices and the many other books and projects he worked on, many of them with Gillian, his memory and that mission will surely last among us.
So we thank Geoffrey for his thoughtful comments on the poems and also for his tribute to Werner. Some of the poets in Mingled Voices 10 are with us tonight. They'll read first. Then we'll hear from a few others who've video recorded their reading. The poets, hope you're listening to this, will come out one by one in alphabetical order of surname, give their name, and then read their poem. I read your names first, and then please come out in sequence. So Alex Chen, Andra Huang, Akin Jeje, P Linstroth, Jun Pan Janice, Luisa Ternau, Anson Wang, Graham Wood. Please stand ready. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gillian. I'm pleased to share with you my poem, Former Kowloon Canton Railway Clock Tower, which just tiny looks at. I find it funny that it's actually on the cover of the anthology itself for a tiny clock tower here. If you haven't, maybe it's the first time for you to visit Hong Kong, if you haven't visited the clock tower, I hope you may enjoy the night scenery there. So here comes the poem. Former Kowloon Canton Railway Clock Tower. We walk along the promenade. People come and go. Victoria Harbour, her deep sheltered waters. I wish I could still capture it all in a panorama. But the clock tower complains. We talk about our life events, people come and go. A warm winter night. We forget so many things, and we forget to watch the time. Again, the clock tower complains. For a century of time, people meet at the station for reunion or separation. O clock tower, you must have seen it all. Generations of displaced people come before your highness, trying to find a born to this land and a born on this land, a land for the wandering and homeless. I bet you can tell if this train is about to start or that train will soon depart. O clock tower, can you tell? In the final hour, while the day remains, the clock tower complains. A reservation to board a train with an unknown destination. Please stand back from the platform doors. And she says to me, we will meet again.
Hi, this is Andra Huang. This is my first time doing anything of the sort, so please be kind. So this is To the Flowers in Your Garden, and it's about a message that I want to have to someone who's not a very good mentor to me. From the deepest soil of my heart, I hope they bloom. To your son, strength of an oak, stature of his father, who shall shield the daintiest flowers from the stubbornest storms. May his branches never intrude. May his fruit never poison. May his roots never crawl or creep. May his sap never leach. May he never mature into his persuasive predecessor, even if he falls not that far from you. From the deepest soil of my heart, I hope he blooms. To your daughter, a gentle growing rose who acts like her toughest thorns, but you know she could be plucked with ease. May she be faithfully fertilized and willfully watered. May she never be nurtured by a gardener in a gentleman's suit, someone who lingers on her leaves and masks himself with manners, who tenderly asks her, "You're like my daughter," but then jokingly asks to kiss her, while she stands stiff and sullen, too green to read his gaze. In years, when connoisseurs come to commend his craft and relish her radiance, as he flaunts a flagrant grin, dusting off his pants to seem a cleaner man, may she never blame her eyes, once wide, for bending to his wind, but let her rage and remember that it was she who grew, despite what she was fed. Let her be proud of her petals and flourish free from strife. Let her spread her seeds like spirit, separate from this forlorn view. From the deepest soil of my heart, I hope she blooms, bright and brilliant and blazing, as red and raw and bleeding as my deepest wounds. Thank you.
I usually write about political matters, but also very human matters. The poem that I'm about to present is Air India, and I think the tragedy happened 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. But I look at the human aspect of it. One of the things I fixated on was on social media when I saw a photo of one of the families that had perished. And it really did break my heart. And this is Air India. That photo, a selfie of Mama and Papa, 3 eager children, maiden voyage from Ahmedabad to London, underscored the all too close horror of broken, burning fuselage, a lone, stumbling survivor. 11A, who left behind his brother. Still can't imagine the whirling, screaming commotion of lives abruptly stripped of motion, never again to soar, traverse time and oceans. Even most thorough investigation yields meager compensation. Pray for mamas, pray for papas, supplicate for the everlasting children, souls hurled in flight, far forth to another destination.
Cables. Okay. Good evening, everybody. It's very nice to be here. Still a little bit jet lagged. Got in Monday morning. But anyway, I just want to say thank you to Dr. Bickley and to her late husband, Sir Werner Bickley. They've been very kind to me over the years. I'm also very thankful for the third place single poetry prize for my poem Icarus Gone. And it's actually a poem from a forthcoming collection called Mi Alma Perdida, which is translation from Spanish means my lost soul, which is really confessional poetry based on my relationship with my parents, based on my relationship with women, and also kind of some personal reflections as well. And by saying, and I just want to say this real quickly. I don't want to take a lot of time, but Proverse has been so kind to me, and I am so grateful. Like I won the Proverse prize back in 2019, and since then my relationship's just grown from here, and I finally made it to Hong Kong. So I'm very grateful to be here tonight, and very grateful to see all of you and to read from a future collection, and also from the Mingled Voices as well. Thank you. So this poem is Icarus Gone, and in many ways, the Daedalus Icarus myth, I mean, it's very well known, so it was interesting that it won the prize, but it's a somewhat of a autobiographical notions in relation with my father. Yeah. Okay, Icarus Gone. On the shoreline, the great pebbles were smooth from wear, and the remnants on that rocky beach were soaked feathers, white and gray, and in a wooden frame and some waxen clumps, and the gentle Mediterranean waves gently pushing the broken frame onto shore. The father stood on that beach line and looked out at the vast seascape and at the horizon. And the sky was griseous and cloudy, and the expansive sea ashen and a gentle calm. Daedalus, with hands on hips, stared for a very long time at the empty expanse. Not even a lone gull on the horizon, nothing but the gentle lapping of water. And the pushing the wooden splinters and feathers onto the rocky scape. Only hours before, they were flying and gliding across the silvery expanse of sea, below the mirroring ocean glinting at them as they soared. Above, Helios, radiant and resplendent, dazzling and glorious. His 7 stallions, albuginous, brilliant azulene skies. And then Icarus flapping and rising, while Helios looked down below at the absurd figure, a man as bird. All the while, Daedalus gliding, gazing downward at glinting sea, and then the struggles of Icarus manifest. The encumbered arms winding and madly flailing and thrashing at the ether. And so the twisting spiral downward and downward, faster and faster, and then a slight whitish splash betwixt a wave and gone. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. I'll be reading my poem, A Tribute to Summer, which is page 123, easy to find. A brief introduction. This tribute is arranged in 4 musical chapters: Preludio, Capriccio, Intermezzo, and Epilogue, each played at different tempos and conveying meanings associated with stories told in each stanza, unfolding through 4 different locales. So 1, 2, 3. A Tribute to Summer. Yestereen in this neon-faded city, at Eden the bar called Terrible Baby. Through the bubbles in my espresso martini, scientists speaking about how looking into one's left eye brings back memories of us as a baby. Whereas wandering in my own muse of serendipity, the adagio sonado arises, unveiling a preludio. To prove this theory of biological elasticity, we threaded through twilight tense of the prophecy, guided by compelling empirical evidence of palmistry until Labra brought to light the ginkgo house, blooming with whispered joy and delicacy, unveiling our sensitivity labeled destiny. The Dante Calabili floating, resembling melodies of a capriccio. Above the turquoise waters of Wukaisha Sea in her deep tranquility, where the movie Ashes of Time harbors pure felicity, moonstone clouds waltzed along our shared childhood lullaby, a bed without any emirate gratuity. In concert, we silently embrace our irresistible infinity, which unfolded like a midnight purple velvet tapestry. Behold, the notes of Clair de Lune starts, an intermezzo. Away from the clamor of urban electricity, we boarded the ferry in search of a long-lost authenticity, exiling ourselves to Lammas Inn of concerto out of curiosity, unexpectedly rewarded by Jack's Caprinian recipe. So, in Moonlight's tipsy breeze with paced velocity, you placed your memory-laden bronze ring onto that towering chimney, while she sailed onto a sojourn's journey. In the immediate vicinity, chasing whispered promises of a romantic originality, along with the melodies of Adagio Lamentoso, here stages, and epilogue. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. I'm just going to read the poem. And yeah, okay, the title says a lot, I think. So, Roots and Intergenerational Dialogue. Roots. Roots, I was told I had to stick to them, even though they who told me so were uprooted too. Parents want this, but their children won't go away. Where? Where my dreams may become rooted. Dreams, can they have roots? Dreams are free. Free doesn't have roots. Where will your dreams lead you? You will end back to your roots.
Good evening, everyone. My poem is actually included in this glass of wine. So cheers, my job is done for tonight. The poem I'm going to read is Wine on page 166. I wrote this poem for my friend. I would like to define wine from her perspective in the hope that she tests happiness whenever she drinks wine in the future. Wine. There is always a reason for wine. Wine is always a reason for dinner. Dinner is always a reason for happiness. Happiness is always a reason for wine. Enjoy the happiness, enjoy the wine. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks very much. I wanted firstly to say thank you to Gillian and to Dr. Werner Bickley for the Proverse Prize, and the fact that it was lovely to see two of my poems selected for such a wonderful anthology. And I'm very happy to have won one of the prizes in it. So thank you very much. It's wonderful for any writer to see their work in print. It's an interesting relationship to the writer and the printed work. I had a poem, a book published 2 years ago, and I was looking at it the other day, and I found a bit in a poem I'd like to change. Anyway, this is not one of those poems. This one's about flooding in New South Wales, and it's called The Gift of an Ending. They speak in flood years by the river, those times when rain refused to stop and water rose to record heights. They tally the cost in people drowned, livestock lost, farmers ruined, knowing how random inundations measure lives, their tragedies of loss, the struggles to regain. And years later, decades on, they yarn in river pubs about the demigods of local myth, pointing to photos on the wall of boats in flooded streets. That's my old man there rowing that. And men and women in sou'westers and oilskin coats performing miracles of the everyday, waist deep in muddy torrents. These floods they speak of are lighthouse years, never forgotten, when family treasures sailed away. The piano lost in the 50 flood, the uniform from the Pacific War. And a lifetime on, old-timers in saloon bars still know how quickly the water rose, how high it got, how long it stayed afterwards on farmlands and river flats. But they reserve their quietest tones of telling to speak of generations past who waited for the one moment above all others when the rain had stopped, and finally the water peaked and the long, painfully held flood breath of the valley could be released in one collective sigh.
Thank you all of you for your readings, splendid. And now I've got video recorded readings from America, Chile, and India, 5.
Greetings, friends. My name is Daniel Thomas Moran. I'm a poet from New Hampshire in the United States, but I lived nearly all of my life in the vicinity of New York City, where I was born in 1957. The poem I'm going to read for the Proverse Poetry Prize Mingled Voices 10 is called Too Much at Any Price. The only thing you need to know is I make a reference to a price that's in US dollars, and also that I've always had a strong belief that there is a place for humor in poetry, especially self-effacing humor. Too Much at Any Price. My second collection of poems is, after 35 years, very hard to find. Not that there is anyone looking for it. I discovered a copy just today as I probed the ebony blackness of the eBay universe for any evidence of my existence. What pleased me was that among a hearty number of my other collections, all priced to sell, the owner of this ever so slightly worn copy of my second book was asking for $129.99. For that price, he would ship it for free. Despite the gentle tugs of an unjustifiable vanity, I struggled to resist the purchase. Although it would have served further purposes to be able to say that a book of mine recently sold for $129.99. Happily, and for want of effective excuses to explain such profligate spending to my forbearing wife, I declined it while wondering, at the very least, what person of sound mind would pay such a ransom for a clutch of obscure verse from such an obscure poet.
Hello, everybody. My name is Joy Al-Sofi. I'm originally from the USA, but now I'm living in Portugal. My poem appears in the Proverse Prize Anthology 2025. I'd like to thank Proverse for awarding a prize to my poem, Golden Shovel, after Rifat Al-Arir. I wrote this poem in honor of the Palestinian poet Rifat Al-Arir and chose lines from what is possibly the last poem that he wrote before he was killed in Gaza. A golden shovel is a recent poetic form that uses lines you choose from a different author. And your poem is written so that when you read the last word of each line down the page, you have read those lines that you chose. Golden Shovel after Rifat Al-Arir. I promise to rest quiet now if you will sing to me. I know there'll come a time when you must cease. I fear that is the day the world will die. O beloved, may your voice never waver or fall still. Let us possess at least a few more lifetimes of it. We will use these fleeting moments to be at one with life. Each uncertain hour may bring a tragic ending or a limitless new beginning to our tale.
Hi, my name is Gary Beaumier. I am in Grafton, Wisconsin, in the United States. I'm going to be reading my poem, Just Before You Fly Away. This is a poem I wrote upon the death of my wife. Just before you fly away. You have left me with all these hats and these two dogs whom I think are in mourning because they look at me with their dark eyes as if to say, where is she? I think the trees are grieving. The poplar is shedding and her boughs have lowered. So I place your red beret beneath it, to be buried come autumn in its leaves. Only then I forget your face and how you would grimace at my bad jokes. To the dogs I give the straw one you wore when gardening, and they tear it to pieces. But now I can't remember the color of your eyes and how they sometimes held such sadness. The night convulses with paroxysms of rain and thunder. So I sail the blue one with a wide brim into the west wind that shredded the clouds, and the sky swallows it up. Except now I can't recall the delicate shape of your hands and how you laced your fingers into mine. So come daybreak, I hear the faint coo of the morning dove, coaxing the sun to rise, and I remember the resonance of your soft voice deep within me still. And I knew then with a certainty that dove must be the keeper of your soul, even as she alights from a branch to seek another mate.
Hello, everyone. My name is Maria Elena Blanco. I am a Cuban poet based in Vienna, Austria. However, I am speaking to you from Santiago, Chile, where I spent the first months of the year. I will be reading my poem, which won second place in the latest Proverse single poem competition. Its title is Penelope's Meditation on Cavafy's famous poem, Facing Manhattan Island. It has an epigraph from Cavafy, which says, Ithaca gave you the marvelous journey. Without her, you wouldn't have set out. I never returned to Ithaca. It was indeed my flight from it, not my return, that led me to adventure, to the sensual perfumes and ports evoked by the Greek. And gorgeous lovers in idyllic places, poets, warriors, or heralds of the day. None better or worse than Ulysses, and some more to be feared than the Laestrygonians and the Cyclopes and Poseidon himself. But the leap made me fearless. Only love, the sheer bliss of the moment, the alchemy of memory, taught me to seize beauty, draw wisdom from the marvelous journey. Keep Ithaca always in your mind. Arriving there is what you're destined for. The island was always in my heart, but from a distance. Its remembrance never clouded my steps. Thus also I emerged unscathed from its ruin, trading it for long exile. She has nothing left to give you now. Leaning on the Ionian column, with the Egyptian cat and my loom anchored on the Brooklyn Bridge, a net of words spread through the seas, and my home in the air, I celebrate life. I ask the world's forgiveness for the world, and thank my faithful followers for the gift of permanence. Thank you.
I hereby recite the poetry. Elegy, a gift from those who have gone. Death arrives. No knock, no thunder, no noise, but the fading of one. A pause held too long between pulses. A silence sharp enough to carve a brimming void through the cavity of the heart. It filters in, quiet, unassuming, slipping through routine, through shadowed corners where once someone stood, once someone dwelled. Between two things, one familiar, one strangely out of place, the gaze of grief, one that does not wail, one that only hums, low, circular, like a sad song playing, looping beneath the humdrum hours of the day. Flows as water does, surging like waves of the sea, like the waning and waxing moon of a soul, soaking what it had long dried. Each wave pulls something lost to the edge. A message, an ache, a creased face, a word once said, now echoing within, coming back louder each time, emptier than the one before. Loss of the life taken, unsettling in a single instant, ever stretching. A slow unsuing from the weave of time, thread by thread, leaving behind not absence alone, but residue, the weight of a presence no longer felt. There are times when hands reach, grasping something that might fill the empty space, returning, bereft again. In the quiet aftermath, a second grief unfolds, not for the one lost, but for the knowing that nothing can return what once was whole. Regret collects like a film of dust on the still shelves, not loud, but always there. Eventually, the cloud in the eye realizes. There might come a distant day, a shift, not peace, never answers, not redemption, but a more silent counsel of time. A breath drawn without breaking, and from that breath, a quieter truth. What is gone remains so, but what is left may still be shaped into meaning. This loss is a malleable memory that follows the footsteps of time. Years later, a numbing comfort sets in. The black box of sorrow, so tightly sealed, is an elegy, a gift from those who have gone. No names, no addresses, no faces. Only the long, languid, yet luminous relearning of light. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much to all the readers and to all the listeners as well. It's been a bit of a marathon. I'd like to thank everybody who's been helpful. The international panel of honorary advisors, the judges of the prizes, the Proverse team, our distributors, the Chinese University of Hong Kong, Mr. Jackson Eng, our printer, Mr. Dickie Wu, who does the cover design, Mr. Moon, who does the collections and deliveries, the Helena May staff for their always efficient and willing help. We've had pleasant help from students at the Hong Kong College of Technology, all from the Higher Diploma in Language and Corporate Communication. First-year students in the Korean stream, Yami Chan and Michelle Kwok. Second-year students in the Japanese stream, Neil Eng and Edwin Yip. We're also particularly grateful to their teacher, Mr. Daniel Choi, without whom I couldn't have managed at all. Thank you very much. We've also had the help of Miss Marigold Jabanetta Condeno, new to our event, Aidan and Nim Fitzpatrick. Thank you very much. We hope you can all help us again in the future. We hope you'll all come again in the future. Now, something else to eat and another drink. Thank you very much for your attention and for coming this evening.